Welcome back, everybody, on a busy Wednesday morning. Sun's out now. I don't think 24 hours from now we're going to be saying that. Looks like we got some weather coming our way, but don't think it's going to detract from people getting to Grand Forks tonight for, as mentioned off the top of the show, the SEC doesn't come to North Dakota all that often or ever, but that's the case tonight. Game I know we talked about, I want to say late May when we found out it was going to happen, and now it's a reality tonight as Alabama will take on North Dakota in men's basketball. Fighting Hawks head coach Paul Sather joins us to get ready for the game. I believe when when we chatted about this, you were out in Dickinson, if I remember right. When
state. My daughter was playing in the
right.
state softball tournament for Red River. Yeah.
So now here it is. It's game day. I know it's the next game, but is there another level of excitement for this one tonight?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, like you said, an SEC team, in particular Alabama, doesn't do this very often. Like I shouldn't say they don't, but like most teams in their situation don't do this very often. So I think that makes it kind of a unique and special situation. Just so happens they're a team that was in the Final Four. They return a lot of guys. They brought in some good players, obviously, and I think they've kind of reloaded from what they had last year even. So. Very, very good team, but for them to come up and travel here, obviously they're stepping out of that plane. It's a little bit different weather than what they see in Tuscaloosa. So I mean, this is we'll see. We got them in the Betty tonight, and it's our court, and great opportunity to go against the team. And the thing that sticks out, Dom, is they play so hard. Like as good as they are and as talented as they are, and that's what we've really been showing our guys on film is at times. We play hard at times, but we don't play as hard as they do. And it's a lesson for us where guys, we got more in us. We can play harder, and we're going to go against a team that has guys that are looking at, future in the NBA. And I'm showing how hard they're playing. And it's like, this is how hard you got to play the game. And so lots of opportunity for us to grow and get better and fight every possession we can tonight.
You have literally been all over the country. I know mid-major basketball, that's it, but you played in 4 time zones. You played in Mexico. I mean, just how excited are you, just let alone the opponent, to be in your building tonight?
Yeah, just to be at home, to be in our own beds, to have some back-to-back days where we're not worrying about packing and catching a flight and sitting in airports. And there's no doubt, I'm not the only coach around that has your team traveling a lot. Like you said, most mid-major programs are traveling. It's just probably been a more unique year for us than ever with the time zone situation. We've been to a lot of different time zones, and there's no question. It's good to be home, and it's good to open up after Christmas at home and be able to get some good quality practices at home, where you're not necessarily practicing and traveling, or traveling and then practicing, and that makes a difference. It just really does.
So your relationship with Grant Nelson, give us the backstory when you first saw him play basketball. Where was that? What do you remember about it?
Well, it probably would have been at one of the St. Cloud tournaments or Sioux Falls tournaments when he was younger, longer range, lanky ranger, kind of awkward kid out there, right? We went up and did a home visit before I took this North Dakota job. We did a home visit and offered him a scholarship for Northern State. And at that time, I think maybe Moorhead with Walthall had also gotten the mix. I think Chad and I both would agree at that time, as we were watching him progress, that it's not for long that he's probably going to get Summit League offers. And that happened. And right when we got the job here, we also made that attempt right away. But obviously that didn't happen. So, listen, from where he was then to where he is now, what he's been through, I think sometimes people look at the transition from where he was when he left North Dakota to go to Alabama. I think people look at that season and look at the last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games and think, my God, it's just been awesome for him down there. But I think we know he grinded. He grinded that year. He grinded through finding his role. He grinded through, and what he was at the end of the year says a lot about the kind of young person he is, and the drive and the work ethic and the maturity that he showed to get through that. Because he was a big reason why they obviously made it as far as they did, because he was a X factor for them that maybe he wasn't earlier in the year. So kudos to him and what his future is because of that maturity and work ethic.
We'll see what he did in the Sweet 16, Paul, and then he's dunking on Donovan Clingan in the national championship game. I think got everybody to stand up. Like Clingan's playing in the NBA right now, and Grant was doing that. I think everybody stood up in attention after that.
Yeah, no doubt. And it wasn't an easy path for him. Like he had to fight for that. And again, I don't think people skip that and miss that. What he had to go through to get to where he was. And even his first year at North Dakota State, like things haven't just come super easy for the kid. He's had to grind and work and fight for it. So, like I said, a lot of respect for him and what he's been able to do, because I think people see the success, but they don't understand the work in the adversity that he went through.
You mentioned this Alabama team. It's not just Grant. Mark Sears is fantastic. What stands out? Like, okay, this is a complete basketball team you're facing tonight.
Well, first and foremost, they're how hard they play stands out. Like that really stands out. They play with great effort, relentless effort. Defensively, they're a team, especially in the half court, that can really just grind on you because of their length, their effort, their athleticism, their rim protectability. Defensively, as they continue through this year, I think they've got a chance to be special defensively. And they got some young guys and new guys that are playing right now. So I'm sure there's growth that they're having in that area. But I just think from that side of the floor, they could be a special group. But as they get young blood more acclimated and playing again, the transfer from South Florida, that was player of the year in the American Conference. They've just got a lot of weapons. The Falon kid is fantastic. His shooting percentage isn't awesome, but my goodness. And I think he might be the highest rated NBA prospect on their team. His athleticism and just his burst it's that. It's when you look at him, you think, yeah, this guy, not for long. Like he's going to be at that next level. And so when you throw Sears and mix and obviously Grant and those other guys, you've got some really veteran guys that have played a lot of basketball, that have won a lot of games, that I think the day in, day out know what it takes. So they got a great combination of a lot of different things, but size, experience, length, athleticism, some new young guys that are awfully talented.
And they've played everybody as well. I mean, they played Creighton, they played Purdue, they played Illinois, they played Houston. They played Oregon. I mean, they haven't shied away from it, and now they're going to go do this. I give Nate Oates a lot of credit because there are not many coaches that would do this.
Well, no, and I think their reaction when Coach Stevens sent that email, their reaction was pretty quick. Like they didn't mull this over much. Like their assistant coach got back to us right away, and he had mentioned that Coach Oates was in meetings or that he would get with him later in the day or the next day, and it was the next day where he got back to us saying, "Yeah, he got a smile on his face and said, let's do it." Now that's secondhand information. I don't know how accurate that is, but I know their response was quick. And then he had to work out some details. But the response was quick, and so it's not like he sat around and really mulled it over much. His instinct was, let's do it, and maybe that's because he spent time in Buffalo and understands god awful weather. But great people. I think anytime you live in areas like this, you get people that are really passionate about stuff, and I think in Buffalo he probably had a similar deal. Like their fan base and everything you do. In areas like this can be awesome because people really take an interest in it, and it's a place to spend a warm evening, right? Instead of trying to do something else, you get out of the house and you do something in a warm environment, and indoor sports allows that in the wintertime here in Grant.
Have you had people coming out of the woodworks looking for tickets? Like what has that been like over the last week or so?
You get a few, right? I mean, I think throughout, early on, it's just like there wasn't going to be a lot available. Like this has been obviously the hardest ticket to really promise to anybody. So as they say, promise less, deliver more. We waited, and there was a few tickets we had available here late that we were able to get to the people that had kind of talked to us. But a really tough one. I didn't want to make any promises. I told them early on, I got some family that would like to come up, and I can't promise anybody anything right now. So yeah, that's the price. But at least it's going to be televised.
A couple last things here with Paul Sather. We talked in the offseason when I saw you at Sioux Falls about what you were expecting for Trace and Eagle staff to do this year. So far through 12 games, he's averaging almost 19 a game. Has he delivered on what you asked of him so far this year?
Yeah, I think the process and the progression has been there. There's no question. I think he's learning about what it's like being a target, what it's like
Yeah.
where the defense is really preparing for you. I think, in the past he's been able to kind of play off the guys that have been a little more targeted, even though I think teams are always pretty highly aware of what he could do and what he could bring. Now he is more the central focus, central target, and there's growth with that. And I think we're seeing that with other players too, just going through these things for the first time. We're seeing the positives and really good things happening, but then we're also seeing, the adversity and mistakes and failures at times as well, when this is going on. So we're a work in progress. This has not been an easy just everything's just kind of fit perfect and voila, here we go. We've been grinding on this, but our guys have really kept the right mindset, and it's been hard. The travel,
Yeah.
you have some tough losses. You have some things where we've kind of hurt ourselves, from free throws to just turnovers. Those two areas, if we can clean up that helps us tremendously. And so, there's some fixes. We're doing some things really, really well too. I think three categories we're in the top 100 in college basketball, and from offensive rebound to our foul rate on defense to how we're getting fouled on offense. There's some really positive things going on, but we've got to take care of it better and just do a better job in the half court defense.
Last thing before I let you go, can the home environment, can that be a factor to help you out to start this game? Can that be something, be a sixth man on the floor for you tonight?
Yeah, I listen. Once that ball goes up, the environment's going to be awesome. Once the ball goes up, I think you would hope guys get so locked into what's going on inside the lines. But there's no doubt when you've got a group of people like we're going to have tonight, really, really supporting us in there, you'd like to think that's going to have some impact on it. But we've also got to be able to play through the runs and the ups and the downs, and we've struggled with that as of late. We've given up a couple runs as of late that have really hurt us. So we've got to really try to minimize their runs and respond. And it's a 4-minute game throughout. You get media timeouts, and it's a 4-minute game without. And you want to try to win as many of those 4-minute segments as you can. And there's the games within the games as a coach that you're really pushing, really selling, and those are part of it, right? And great opportunity to get better tonight because you're going to get pushed in ways that everything's going to be hard, and even the easy plays that you think are usually kind of easy are going to be a little bit harder. And so let's get better at making those easy plays and work harder and play harder and be more connected and engaged throughout.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for the time. Have a great time. Good luck tonight, and we'll talk again soon, okay?
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate you.
Paul Sather, UND men's basketball head coach, Fighting Hawks and the Crimson Tide, 8 o'clock tonight on CBS Sports Network. Grant Nelson back, and a bunch of Devil's Lake, I know, going to be at the game tonight. We're overdue for a break. We'll take one now, come back, wrap up hour one, big second hour, including our Bison Media Zone show coming up at 10:30. We roll on this Wednesday. We're back after this.